Brian Palavar Run Far here with Jason Schlarb after his win at the 2013 Run Rubber 100. Nice running out there, Jason.
Thank you, Brian.
You had a day where nothing went wrong. How does that feel?
It feels good. It feels good. I've had the premise that running a 100-mile, you have to kind of go basically to hell and back, to finish and do well. But today, it kept a positive attitude. Felt good and stayed comfortable for about 90% of the race.
So it wasn't about just lucking out and having that perfect day. It was really staying within yourself and keeping your mind in the right place?
Yeah. I've been really playing with the idea of smiling and laughing during running, especially on longer races, and it worked out. It really keeps your mind off of negative things creeping in, doubt, and fear of other people passing me. I just relax, stay happy, calm and cool, and the body feels good, and the results follow largely.
What brought about your shift toward that approach? Did someone inspire you, or how did you come across that?
Well, after last year's my only other 100, I didn't practice that. It was just a miserable time, and Joe Yuhan wrote that article on I Run Far. He mentioned talking about that psychology and some of the chemistry of even just smiling and laughing and staying in a positive attitude. And it's things that I think people kind of know in general, but when you specifically apply it and make sure that you do it, it works. And I had a lot of self-talk and sound like kind of a nut, but as is most of the case in 100 miles, I'm by myself, so who cares?
So you're literally like having a chat with Jason Schlarb here.
Oh yeah, I had self-talk. And I think 100 miles especially, it kind of almost like a religious event for me. Like I go to a really special place inside my brain and soul and being, and just it's weird, it's crazy. That's part of the reason I like it.
Could you see like some of like Timothy Olson and Roy Bosio and folks like that finding their success from that like really outward approach to that happiness?
Yeah. From being an animal like Tim in the last third of the race, and just going to somewhere unusually funky and special to get through a race. It works. It kind of gets you away from yourself and puts you into an alter ego and enables some good performance.
Yeah, so you took the lead a little after 40 miles, but it was close until like mile 70. You still were within bottom of that little descent.
Yeah. Spring Creek at Nick Clark had a speckled hen beer aid station, which was ridiculously tempting. But Carl was like 6 or 7 minutes back. I think like 15-20 minutes back was Dave Mackey was still in the race at that point, and Browning and Josh Arthur. It was a steamrolling train ready to destroy me.
So they actually like closed in a little bit on you on that descent.
Yeah.
And did you switch mental modes? Did you switch your game, or what happened there? Because like with somebody like Timothy, like almost, or Nikki Kimball, like there's a flicking of the switch and it's like beast mode. It's attack.
Yeah.
Where did you go? With 30 to go.
My rule for the race before I even got there was no racing until 70, and it just so happened I got a nice slap in the face at about 70, 72 with all these guys right behind me that it was time to get outside of the comfort a little bit and push and make it hurt. And at that point, that was the beginning of the final climb. You kind of go flat, and then descent. Who cares? Just trash the body and finish. So that was really where the work came in, and it worked out. Unfortunately, I didn't know, but before the final descent, I had like almost an hour with Carl, but I was in absolute paranoid mode, looking back the last 3 or 4 miles, making sure he wasn't there.
You don't want Carl behind you with
no
any distance left.
No, he's going to be ready to scoop up anybody's carnage, and there's even the thought, I didn't know what Tim Olson was. I know that he can do miraculous running in the last 10 minutes.
You had some solid ultra races over the last couple years, but it seems like you made a really big step up this year. Dakota edged you out there at San Juan, but you had improved over your great performance of last year.
Edge 20 or 30 minutes, but he had us out of an unbelievable category of a run, and I ran almost 8 minutes faster than I did the year before and won, and had the second fastest all time. But that was a little bit shadowed by awesome performance by Dakota.
So you had a good run there. You had a good run at Speed Goat.
Yeah.
You had a great run here. What have you changed with your training, or your approach to the schedule, or what have you mixed up this year?
There's really, it's 2 or 3 things. First one is not racing in August, and taking another race out earlier in the summer to make sure that I'm fresh and feeling good. Another one is doing a grain-free diet and making my body fat-burning system. I hardly used, I think I had 1,500 calories for 17 hours.
The entire race.
And I didn't bonk at all, just first hour 25 I didn't take anything. And then after that it was about 100 calories every 40 to 45 minutes. The last 10-15 miles there was a few times where I hit it at 35 minutes. But that made me efficient, and with 100 being so aerobic, it just was perfect. I had no solid foods, I had no salt caplets, and nothing but just the basics of running on fats and then hitting the carbs just every once in a while. That worked out perfectly. And that's basically a result of going grain-free and paleo. That really worked out well. Yeah, training's really come together and figuring out what works for me and having fun.
Have you, so those are sort of pre-competition changes you've made, changing your schedule, changing your overall diet, changing how you train a little bit. On race day, have you learned anything that's helped you experientially over the last couple of years for the attitude or anything else?
I would say, my very first race in 2010 was at North Face, and in the first half of the race I was like in 20 or 30 minutes of place, got to 5th. I think from the get-go I've always had the experience of running in college and road running semi-professionally, running for the Air Force, that I had a really good sense of race strategy, and that's always been a good strong suit for me. But getting familiar with the competition, getting familiar with different races of 50K, 50 mile, 100 mile, I've been able to bring everything together with my diet, training, the right amount of races per year, not being stupid and doing a race every single month during the summer. And being a full-time athlete now, things have finally come together, and it's nice to have these last 3 races be all successful and subsequently more successful.
On the training front, you've both moved to Missoula, and wasn't quite training in New Zealand, but you've had a long road trip in New Zealand with your wife and your son. You went to Patagonia. How have you incorporated
Dolomites?
Dolomites, sorry. Patagonia, you'd like to.
January.
So has that been an active? Do you just seek out fun, or do you sort of use that as motivation? How do you mix in this adventure?
That's my ultimate goal. I went from a full-time job doing well in the military, quitting that to chase a dream a bit. And luckily the sponsorships come in and made the lifestyle a reality. And to go out and run adventure games, trips to the Dolomites, trips to Patagonia, and racing the best races in North America and the world has become a reality. So it's just been a dream that's kind of worked out.
Prior to you getting the ultra running thing, you were in the military. You were deployed in Iraq, and I didn't know this until you crossed the line this morning, but you carry a small American flag and everywhere. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. When I got deployed to Iraq shortly after I got into the ultra running scene, and it was a profound event. It's something that's pretty crazy, and the sacrifices that a lot of these guys and gals make in a deployed environment, and serving our country was, it's one thing to know it, read about it, and understand it, but it's another to actually be there and see these guys. And I took a flag from this kind of helicopter pad kind of place that I was flying out of Iraq from, and I took that, put it in my pocket, and brought it home. And ever since then, I've always carried it every single race. And I'm going to win a race and finish the cross line. Finish in first place. I pull it out. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen too terribly.
But you always have it with you?
I always have it with me, every single race. And so it was nice to pull that out today.
Well, congratulations on pulling it out and pulling out a fantastic run there this past 2 days. This is an obvious bonus question for you.
Okay.
What inspired the mullet?
Like we discussed, I was in the military. I did ROTC in college. So let's see, about 13 or 14 years of being told what you have to do with your hair. Long hair really is too high maintenance. So I was like, you know what? Nobody has a mullet. This is pretty cool. Yeah, I can kind of have that Euro soccer look. Don't have to have it all in my face and blowing in the wind when I'm driving the car. So the mullet's it's kind of my thing.
It's your expression of your freedom?
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome, man.